Hello, and happy Friday. Welcome to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I know Greg has some really important, interesting news coming up in just a second. For those of you who are brand new to the show, welcome. I'm here to keep you posted on all things business. A big welcome to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I'm Winnie's son, longtime financial pro, CNBC council member, Forbes contributor, and of course, host of Level Up, which can be found on NASDAQ. But most importantly, I know many of you are here to see him. Welcome, Greg, to the show. It's so nice to see you every week. This is the best way to end the week.
It is. It's great to see you too, and everybody else is joining in. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm Greg Nibbler, longtime tech reporter, and now a news reporter for Fox 12 Oregon, and covering a lot of stuff. But today, I know there's, we're broadcasting on a lot of platforms. We're not on Threads yet, but that is definitely going to be, I think, a big discussion today. Is the Twitter versus Threads war. All that's going on there. There's so much happening. So we're going to be talking about that. But also I've got, it wouldn't be the end of the week show without a little bit of robots. So there's some robotic stuff that's coming up too. But most importantly, it's great to see everybody joining in, commenting, letting us know what you want to talk about. I see some comments coming through right there. So hello, everyone. Nice to see you. And feel free to drop in, whatever you think as we go through the show, whatever we're talking about. Let us know how you're feeling about things. And Winnie always kicks it off by letting us know what's going on in the world of finances, and which is a crazy world to me that I don't understand, which is why Winnie makes it make sense.
I don't know, Greg. I think you do understand a lot more now, especially since
I do now, since
you're reporting on the news too, right? So
yeah, that's true. But I don't do finances on the news, so.
Well, it's so great to be here with you, Greg, for sure. And I feel like the market likes you, Greg, because it's been a pretty choppy week, but today is a triple update so far. So currently, we're tracking on the Dow over 100 points, which will certainly take Sadiq. Since you're here, maybe that you're helping as well. NASDAQ, we're up over 115 points, which just makes my heart happy because, as you know, a lot of the tech and biotech names are on the tech-heavy NASDAQ, which is great. And the S&P 500 also up 27 points, which is wonderful. Hopefully, we can end the week this week on a positive note. We certainly need it, right? Given all the information that's been coming out, but do know the market won't be closed for another few hours here. So if you're wondering, you can check back again in a few hours and see how it closes. But I would just say this, after you see this show, I feel like, you're going to get a bunch of the highlights, and I think you can be on your way and enjoy the weekend. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to start with kind of give you an idea of some of the big headlines that we have so far in the financial segment. The U.S. economy today reports that it added 209,000 jobs last month in June, falling short of course, Wall Street estimates. But this does indicate a slowdown from the previous month, which you might say, how is that a good thing, right? That we're not adding more people to work. Well, actually, it's good because it also means the job market isn't too overheated, which could mean that inflation will be coming down some, which could also mean that the Fed then wouldn't have to continue to increase interest rates so aggressively. So a negative is a positive in this situation. So economists had expected a 225,000 non-farm payroll data, but that didn't happen. The unemployment rate currently in June was 3.6%. That's down from a whopping 3.7% in May. So not that huge of a difference. They're taking a look and they're really paying attention to the hourly rate and the increase of rate, how much, if you're being paid on an hourly basis, how much you're getting paid versus people who are newly hired, how much they're getting paid. This is all data that they use to collect to figure out whether or not the economy is overheated. So that's one section. The other thing that I want to share with you today is, of course, on Amazon Prime Day, which is next week. Now, I thought that was a really interesting report. And this came from my friends at CNBC. They're saying that some of our spending now is going in the direction of what they call the little treat lifestyle trend. Now, what does this mean? This means that here in the US, Americans are embracing what they call the little treat lifestyle. So instead of making big purchases like brand new 75-inch TV, maybe Greg will get that, I don't know, or a brand new, you know, state of the art, huge Mercedes Benz, blah, 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 that you don't really want to spend on or you can't really spend, or maybe you're leasing it. Now they're saying the trend is to buy small little lifestyle things that are a little bit less expensive, a little less indulgent, and a little bit less strain on your finances with lower prices. So this is kind of cool. So Amazon Prime Day, Target Circle Week, Walmart Plus Week. I'm sure Best Buy has their own little cute title as well. This is all coming next week. This is going to provide opportunities for what they call retail therapy. Let me just say, retail therapy is so overrated. All right. So for those who are watching, hopefully you do not indulge in retail therapy. Instead, go out and enjoy nature or something. Go for a hike. It's like a really great way for your health and your finances, and as we know, health as well. All right, but this little treat culture, as you're calling it, is considered a form of self care. It gives consumers like Greg and I a temporary boost of happiness during very stressful economic times. And they're saying that, cutbacks on non-essential goods, nearly 80% of adults, though, still intend to shop on Amazon Prime Day. So, Greg, I have to ask you, like, what's your plan for Amazon?
I mean, right now I don't have a big plan because I am gonna not overindulge. Although there are certain things that maybe I've been planning, or maybe I needed to upgrade, and if there's a really, really good deal, I might snag something during that, just because if it's something I was planning on buying in a couple of months, but if I can get it for way less right now, I might do it. But otherwise, I'm gonna try to not hit Amazon Prime Day too much this year. I'm going to attempt to. Although they're pretty good at their marketing, so they may hit me up with if the right smart home product comes over. Oh, but then again, I do want to get some more smart home bulbs. So I guess there will be a couple of things that I buy, but only if they're really good deals. That's
Only
it.
really good deals. I love
Yeah.
it, Greg. And I imagine your house is very, very smart. And welcome, Vicky, to our show, too, on Facebook Live. It's great to see you. And Sadiq, always a treat. Wouldn't be a show without you on YouTube Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, if you're going to indulge in Amazon Prime Day, just remember, you can also check to make sure you're getting the best deal on the product at camelcamelcamel.com. That's a website where you can go and they can check like to see the latest trend. I think the last 3, 6, 12 months of how the price that you're looking to pay is compared to like historical pricing. I've used that a couple times, but I will say this: like I would always suggest whatever you're gonna buy, check out Target, Walmart, Best everybody as well as Amazon because there's sometimes you can use a stack. And I would go to Cashback Monitor for that because then sometimes you can save an extra 5%, which in the long run can make a real big difference. So, my food for thought if you are going to be indulging next week. All right, but here's the thing, Craig. We really need to talk about this. I mean, I know you and I were like having a lot of fun yesterday. I was like on threads for quite a bit. Meta, right? Facebook. This is really interesting. So Meta Threads versus Twitter. I feel like this is the real cage fight beginning now.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that, right? Like, I guess over 30 million downloads in just 16 hours after it's launched is Instagram's new app Threads. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah. I mean, I downloaded it just like one of those 30 million people. They did make it really easy to sign up. I like the idea that you can, port over your username so you don't have to go, because anytime there's some new platform, you have to rush out and try to claim your username and all of that stuff. At least you didn't have to do that here. Yeah, I've been messing around with it. I've got a bunch of details on it for anybody who hasn't tried it. I'm curious for people watching, have you downloaded it? Have you started using it? What are your thoughts on it? But there's a lot of debate going on right now about whether Threads or Twitter. I think it was inevitable this was going to happen. Especially with the way Twitter was going. I mean, that there's an opportunity there because so many people are upset. There's the people that love Elon Musk, there's the people that don't like the way Twitter is going. This seemed inevitable that this was going to happen, but there's also the impending potential lawsuit that's going on. So a lot of stuff to cover. But I guess first off, how do you feel about Threads? Have you tried it? How do you feel the interaction is? For me, it is very similar to Twitter. So it's pretty easy to jump right into it and to start using it. I actually haven't posted yet. I've just been looking at it a little bit. I need to post myself. But yeah, I think the interaction is pretty simple.
It's very simple. You're absolutely right. I don't think, we used to call Twitter tweet. I don't know what you say when you thread. I guess I threaded
Oh yeah.
yesterday. I sewed yesterday. There you go. I sewed yesterday. I sewed a little bit with Vicky yesterday and some of the others that were there. Some of my friends actually from Twitter are now on Threads. But yeah, there's a lawsuit happening right now. Twitter has threatened legal action against Meta, which is the parent company of Instagram, as you know. They're accusing them of using trade secrets. But the news that I've been reading says that, well, Facebook or Meta, like, I guess the executives there said it's hogwash because nobody who works on this Thread product came from Twitter. None of the development team came from there. And I would say, like, although it feels and looks similarly, Jack Dorsey, who is Twitter's co-founder, actually made a joke on social media saying like, okay, great. So I thought everyone was working on flying cars, and now we have 7 versions of a copycat of Twitter. Like, don't you think you have better use of your time? And I thought that was pretty entertaining. But it's true. It feels, like you said, very similarly. But I think there are some things that hopefully will get built and added on later on, because currently they don't do a great job in terms of, you can't use hashtags. So it's not easy to
Yeah.
search. And the thing that really drives me nuts, Greg, is it's not easy to post a GIF or GIF. You get It's just not simple to do, and that drives me nuts because I feel like that's part of the magic of Twitter interaction, is that we can use
Right.
that entertainment factor is not there. So it seems
Yeah.
like a watered down version of Twitter right now, but it is. I definitely feel like the people there are nicer, a lot
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah. I mean, well, and plus, I think another thing that I would like to see, and clearly this is in the very beginning stages, so I would imagine there's a lot of iterations that are going to come on to this, and probably more integration with Instagram, or for that ability to post images or pictures. But I would like to have another way to have that, discover other people, so you can follow other people on there. Because I logged on, and probably just like everybody, it was just like, follow everybody you follow on Instagram. I'm like, okay, so everybody got a notification that I was following them, even if it's somebody I haven't talked to in a long time. But I would like that to have it expanded a little bit more. I mean, basically, to do more of what Twitter does. Whether that's something exclusive that Elon Musk can say, they completely copied us, I don't know about that. I guess we'll have to see. That could be a lot of bluster, but it does show that he does feel it's a legit competitor. I don't think he would be doing that or acknowledging it in this way if he didn't actually feel a little bit threatened by it. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, I want to play around with it a little more, and yeah, I think it's probably going to be a few months before we start seeing more of the stuff, because they did talk about what they want to add in there. They want it to be compatible with other apps so that people can embed this in different things. So for developers, there's going to be a side of it. You could have diverse and interconnected networks.
Mm.
Posts can be up to 500 characters long, include links, photos, and videos up to 5 minutes in length. Interoperable with other apps that also support Activity Hub, such as Mastodon or WordPress. So being able to embed it right in there. And that's part of the thing that Twitter was pulling back, was allowing access to their API, and some of the ways that developers were using that. So maybe Meta is going the other way, just saying like, oh yeah, no, you can use this for all kinds of stuff, embed it everywhere. So I think there are going to be some key, at least, differences as far as how they allow their platform to be used. And I'm guessing it's straight up that it's Meta's taking a look at what Twitter's doing and being like, okay, people are mad about that. We can do that here. You're allowed to do that here. So, I think it's going to take a while before we see if it plays out, but try it. Well, I'll certainly be trying it. We've seen a lot of competitive apps that come out with social media all the time. like with Reels, that was the competitor for TikTok, and Reels is kind of stuck around. YouTube has their shorts. Everybody eventually tries to see what somebody else is doing and then tries to develop their own. Facebook's pretty big, Meta's pretty big, so maybe this will last.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
maybe. It'll be really interesting to see, but I agree with you on this. I think, so somebody who spent $40+ billion on a platform is obviously
Yeah.
not going to be very happy that someone created something so quickly on a platform that's really done very well. Instagram, obviously, very, very popular platform. And
Yeah.
it is interesting. I love what you said too about like it was so easy to create an account. It certainly was. And I'm hoping that it'll actually reduce some of the concerns that people are hearing on Twitter of all the bots, right? And all those trolls. Because one thing I will say is on Facebook, it's really hard to get support. Like I know several people who've had their accounts hacked or taken over, and it's like literally it's easier to move to a different country to get Facebook Meta support on your
Yeah.
account. So one of the things that they said was an issue is that originally if you wanted to close your Thread account, that would also mean that you would have to close your Instagram account. Unfortunately, the execs read that commentary and they're saying, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to close your Instagram account, because people were a little bit worried about that. They're like, okay, forget that. Then I'm not going to set up a Threads account. They're like, no, that's going to be okay. But I do think Meta needs to step up on the customer service side so that those of us like you and I who are verified, like we have some protections on our account if we have issues. It's very, very difficult, I think. And I think as these social media platforms get bigger, it's going to be more so that way. But I do know that in the last 24 hours, a lot of huge brands have jumped over to Threads instead of accounts.
Yeah.
I think that's smart. And it's also, that's got to be a big threat because they don't feel like they're in a safe place at Twitter. And if users are gravitating to this for the same reason over the Threads, and they give us hashtags and we're able to do like hashtag discussions and
Yeah.
easier search, that doesn't seem like that's that far reach, Greg. I feel like they should be able to add that on, right? In their own thready way. But
Yep. Maybe they do it in some slightly different way, but yeah, I'm sure that's going to get added on.
okay, but I have a question, Greg, for you and everyone that's watching. Watching here is this. Okay, so on Twitter, right? So Greg and I, like when I was on his show on Digital Trends, I consider us tweeps because on Twitter we're peeps, so we're tweeps. Now, since we're all on Threads together, what are we on Threads?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel
That's
like
a tough one.
they should have thought of that, right? And then on Twitter you tweet. What are you doing on Threads?
Oh man, that is a tough one that I am not coming up with anything right now.
Right?
Threading, yeah.
So maybe like Vicky is saying threaders.
Threaders.
Treaders. I don't know. Like I just feel like
Threaders is kind of cool.
treaders, yeah, threaders,
Threaders,
sewers. I mean, I don't love the name.
Sewer. Yeah,
but
that's true. I mean, there's gonna have to be a whole language on there.
Yeah, and I guess, Greg, we should do this. Okay, as soon as hashtags comes along, because it's just a matter of time. We need to do a thread chat. We'll do it in the loop thread chat.
Yeah.
Thread chat.
Yeah.
Thread chat works.
So follow us on Thread.
Yes, follow us on Thread. So, Greg, what's your Instagram handle so we can share it out?
It's just my name, so it's just Greg Nibbler.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Pretty easy to find. Yeah.
Someone took my name, so I don't have it on.
That's what I was talking about. How you go up. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of people with Greg Nibbler, so I don't have too much competition. But that's what I do. Like every time there's a new one of these that launches, though, you have to go out and try to.
You got to grab mine. Mine is at winniesun.com.
There we go.
One course.
winniesun.com. Follow Greg Nibbler on Threads.
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, feel free to drop your handle.
I'll post after this, though. I'll post this episode on there.
Yes, please do, Greg. So yeah, those of you who are watching, we see a lot of you. Joshua, thanks so very much for joining in too. Feel free to drop your thread handle here so we can all get, connected and everything else because we want to make sure we support you because you support us so much. But
Yeah.
Greg, what else you got today?
I got a couple other things here for end of the week stuff because I knew we were going to be discussing that for a while. So a little switching directions. This is actually something I yesterday for my other show. I interviewed the CEO of this company, but I wanted to bring it up because it is a kind of a big thing that happened this week related to flying cars. Flying cars, we have talked about on this show before. There's a lot of companies out there working on them, the ideas of them, or flying vehicles. There's several different things you get companies that are working on that kind of stuff. But this one in particular is from a company called Aleph, and they just got approval, FAA approval, to start test flying their cars. What you're seeing here is a rendering, so that's not the actual vehicle made, but that's how it's going to work. And the concept is like this right here. You'd be driving in traffic. Oh, there's something in the way. You just hover up and you go right over it and then just continue on your commute. That's one way you can do it. The other way is flying like you saw in the other section there. So the approval now lets them start testing this out on the roads. These are, you can also put a down payment on these things as well. So the way it works, they're all electric. And they have kind of like a drone. There are 8 propellers within this vehicle on either side. As you can see here, it's rotating. So where you're sitting, where the driver would be sitting, that part doesn't rotate. The vehicle rotates around you, almost like a gimbal. And you can go straight up and down, or if you want to get going faster, then it'll rotate like that, and you can fly along a lot quicker. But this is what they got approval to start testing. So we haven't seen the actual vehicle. They said they're working on a video of that. So these are renderings, but this is also how they're envisioning the future of commuting. So this is largely based around that, commuting or maybe quick little vacations like within 100 miles. And you would have your flying vehicle that you can hop up and down anytime you want. So that was the big news, FAA approval, which takes a lot to get that.
It does. But Greg, so how much are these flying vehicles?
So they are saying they're going to end up being $300,000. And you can, like I said, they're taking deposits for them. I don't know how many people have deposited or not. I think they put out something in a press release on that. But yeah, 300,000 is what it will end up being. They're envisioning within a couple of years. And again, anytime you hear a company say that, there's so many factors that can go that can change that. But within a couple of years. And honestly, a lot of these flying car companies are talking about the tech will be there for several of them within the next, say, 2 to 5 years. You'll probably see a lot of that. The regulatory approval, that will take a lot longer here, but that's a big step there. Them getting that FAA approval to actually test it out in California and start flying it around, do some more extensive tests than what they've got before. That's a big sign that they are actually moving towards something. But I got to ask, so assuming these things are safe, and he did talk about that there are fail safes because there's 8 different rotors in there. So if one goes out, you're fine. Assuming they're safe, would you drive one of these?
How many can they fit? Because I got a family of 5.
That's a good question. Definitely not 5 in that. I think it's 1 or 2 people in that.
Okay.
Let me see here. I'll double check. Let's see. I believe you can have 1 to 2 people in that one. I could be wrong. Maybe it's only 1, but I think it's 1 to 2.
Yeah, so I need the SUV version of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like if it could, like hypothetically fit 5 people, I probably would wait just because 300,000 is still, I could do a lot with 300,000,
Yeah.
So I'd probably wait to see how that goes. I tend to not like to jump on first adoption on more pricey things.
Yeah.
Just because like you think about like if you had jumped, I didn't jump on the first Teslas when they first came out. They were pricier, but most importantly, they're really touting that self-driving aspect, right? And I'm glad I didn't jump on that because that would have been a costly mistake. But this seems, I love this idea though. Electric, and it's safe, and especially given all the traffic and accidents that do occur here in California. Yeah,
Yeah.
no brainer. I love it. And also, you could probably move faster if you're in the air, right? I mean, I imagine you wouldn't have to be limited to 65 miles per hour. Maybe they let you go like 180 miles per hour or something. That'd be super cool. And then you get to San Francisco in no time at all.
Yeah, this one, I'm double checking how fast you can go, but I mean, when you have no traffic underneath you, you can get across anything pretty quick. I mean,
Right.
I'll say just for my commute now, since it
Mhm.
takes me about an hour to get home, I would absolutely want one of these. $300,000, no, but if they gave me one to try out, yeah, that would be so nice just to swoop right over the Highway 26 traffic here. I would be all for that. Uh, see, are these flight cars going to be battery based? Yes. So these are electric. This one's called the Model A. So it's got a driving range. Taking a look at some of the stats on here, driving range of 200 miles, flight range of 110 miles.
Okay.
Right now, it doesn't drive very fast. So it's,
So right now it doesn't drive very fast. I guess we'll have to see.
yeah, a vehicle can seat two people. So it is two people. Now they've got another one that they're working on that they're saying will be a Model Z that would be slated for 2035. So this is a ways out. That would be a 4-person sedan priced at $35,000, slated to have a 300-mile flying range and 200-mile driving range. That seems like a lot of really great statistics for something that is 12 years away. And I don't know if I really believe that. I'll tell you what, and it's going to be, 30 grand, and man, you can fly to the moon and back. Cool. I mean, that's neat, but, but we're not there. So this one though, yeah, they're saying that maybe within the next couple of years. He was a little speculative on that, but I've got the full interview with that CEO that you can check out. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting stuff regardless. I love seeing how all these companies are working on these things. There's the Jetson Aero too. That one's pretty cool looking. That's more of like a hover car kind of thing. But yeah, so lots of stuff in flying cars that's happening.
So Greg, let me ask you this. So first off, where do we go to see your full interview? I think
So
that.
that is right now. I would go to the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel. That is the best way to see a lot of those. And I'll post these two on Twitter and Threads.
I
On
love
my
it. Okay.
thread. Yeah.
And then Greg, I guess the next question to you would be like this. I mean, one of the things, I think you've seen this too on Twitter. I guess Mark Zuckerberg and Elon, they had this little discussion, if you will, and they're like talking about doing a cage fight in Las Vegas. I feel like, I would like CEOs to be spending more time working on products
Yeah.
and little less time on the ego aspect. And so these
Yeah.
things such as flying cars can be a reality sooner rather than later. I think that's what Jack Dorsey was getting at also. Like you're spending so much time. It's almost like the battle of the egos.
Yeah. Spending time on stupid things when you're already, rich beyond anybody else that
Yeah.
exists. It's like, seriously, and you're sitting there saying like, I'm gonna put you in a cage. Like, it's just so dumb.
It's
It's
so
so dumb.
silly. It's who cares? Take the
A
money.
couple of rich middle school kids. That's
I
they're
know.
like,
Like,
you
I
know,
don't know, maybe not even middle school kids, Greg. I feel like, like,
yeah.
how like that middle age syndrome where they feel like they need to prove themselves because they are lacking some sort of emptiness in their life. But billionaires, right? All the things that you could do with the power and the money that you have, and yet
Yeah.
you want to go and it's just so silly. I just do wish that they would spend more time, just grow up like maybe it is middle school, grow up a little bit, be more mature, try to think about ways to actually help mankind and most important our planet, right? So
Nope. It's gonna be a cage match.
let's be in cage match. And then the crazy thing is like people want to watch this thing, so I'm hoping if they do it, at least all the money will go to charity, and that maybe, but still
It's
so
something positive that comes out of it. Yeah.
right? Yeah. But
It's
I mean, it is what it is. But I'm curious to see how all of you feel about this. Would you want to ride a flying car? How does that seem to you? I mean, like I love what Greg said. It could be like a, from a taxi style that or maybe I think somebody had said that on one of our
Oh,
comments. But yeah, I
yeah.
think that would be really cool, right? Like for example, like San Francisco, like talk about congestion, right? Los Angeles, talk about congestion. Other parts of the country, like imagine if you could just go around an accident. I would imagine that would be safer too. I
Yeah.
would think would when would government with the police start to use these first, seems like this
Oh,
would be helpful for them,
yeah. So it definitely would. I mean, for rescue situations too.
right? Oh yeah, like ambulances for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I
now we're
mean,
talking.
yeah. I think eventually we'll get to that point, but I think we're a ways away still. But nonetheless, yeah, it's still kind of exciting.
It's really
Yeah.
exciting. Well, congratulations as CEO. I'm just gonna say, Greg, you're super, super likable. People tend to like stick with you like glue. So for the CEO that you interviewed, this is a great chance to get to know Greg a little bit better because I think that you could do a collab and do a lot of collaboration. Let me just say I'm proof of this because I approached Greg for collaboration. It's been nothing but awesome this whole time. So do it.
Thank you. And yes, yeah, I will totally fly your flying car. So yeah,
Yeah.
no
There
problem
you
at
go. Parked. Oh, probably parked in Oregon somewhere.
all. Yep. I did have one final thing here. I know we're running out of time, but the last thing I did want to show is just because I have to find some kind of weird robotic type thing. This is from a company called Jizai, and they're called Jizai Arms. Jizai is a Japanese term that roughly defines autonomy and the freedom to do as one pleases. So just to explain that name, it's this. It's imagining a world where we're less. Oh, did I? Okay, sorry, just making sure that something happened here. It's imagining a world where you're merging humans and robotics, becoming cyborgs, and you have extra arms to do things with. And that's what we're looking at right there. It's just a strange video, and I had to bring it out. So they're looking at it as making it like art. You can do more art form type of things with like they're doing there. You can interact with your robotic arms. So you can hug with those instead of your human arms. It's
What?
just, it's very
What?
strange. It is very strange. So this is from the University of Tokyo, and they're the ones working on this. Yeah.
Ah.
So it's controlled by you, like interacting with it.
Okay.
It's 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 so
Okay.
weird looking. That's
Okay. We gotta see the positives. Okay. So Joshua's like, whoa. Thinking it's like helping hands. I'm gonna say, okay, it's a big what, but think about the positive. Like for someone who's an amputee, right, and
sure.
who has or a senior citizen who has mobility issues, this could be great for that. Uh, but for like normal people, let me just say, Greg, if I like meet you for the first time, you have one of these things, I'd be like turn away, walk away. Like what a weirdo.
Yes.
uh,
Definitely a weirdo. Um, yeah, Crossing Spider says that looks pretty tough to use. Yeah, it does look kind of like it's a pain to use, but they're looking at it more as like the concept of, is this where humans could go, where we start having these robotic appendages that are attached to us.
she's
It's
petty.
strange. Mainly I just wanted it because it's a really weird video and they look kind of silly.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you're right. The technology is very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Technology's cool. And just seeing what people are doing with those kinds of things. So
what if your dog had one of these, Greg? It had one of these, and then like it could feed itself. It would just like it would feed the arm and grab
all
its.
my dog would do is open the fridge and take everything off of the counters. And I do
Well,
not want him having that.
yeah, this is weird, but
Yep.
I mean, the technology is good. I mean, like, right? If like, I like that one video you showed us before too, where they could pick up really heavy things with it.
Yeah,
But
that's cool stuff. Yeah, the exoskeleton type thing. This is looking at robotics as art.
when do you think this is happening, Greg? Because it's like all very exciting stuff, right? But we see with the whole metaverse thing and people wearing these wearables, it doesn't seem like people want to wear. Like I don't feel like a need to jump and start wearing a big thing on my face. W- like
Yeah,
this is great. They're working on all this technology, but when is the adoption going to take place? Like I feel like that's the question.
yeah. we'll have to see. I mean, some of the exoskeleton stuff that's used in the workplace, that stuff's some of it's out there already, where you can lift a lot more. I think that's where you'll see it happen. This type of thing is more of an experiment and just saying, what if was this something that people would do? But yeah, you'll start seeing more of it, especially in the workplace environment.
Sadiq saying looks like soldiers at Avatar. I couldn't agree with you more.
Oh yeah,
Sadiq. This is like, yeah, maybe they'll use it in movies. Okay, Sadiq, maybe you make a good point. This could be a movie thing, like for future movies. Again, very limited use, but we like the technology. Very
yeah.
cool.
That's what I mean. If I see creepy robot arms, I got to bring them to the show. So that's what I had to do. That's all I've got, though. That's the last one I'll put upon everybody for today. But yeah, this is, as always, though, love everybody tuning in, and thank you for the comments as we go through the show. It is so much fun to interact and to hear what you think about some of these things, and what you think about Twitter versus Threads or flying cars or anything else that we talk about on here. I love it. It's awesome.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Greg. That was awesome and so fun doing the show. Now, I want to share with everybody who's tuning in. Do know that we will not be doing In the Loop and for the next week at least. Okay, so we won't be having it In the Loop next week, but we'll certainly see you very soon after that. And of course, we're going to be communicating and interacting on social media, so definitely stay close. But in the meantime, a good place to go is to check out Greg's new show, so that way you don't miss us, right? So Greg did mention that you can see it on their YouTube channel. We'll make sure to share that in the comments, Greg, if you don't mind sharing that on the comments in the meantime. And we'll be back, and we're gonna miss you. And then, but thank you so much for tuning in today. If you get a chance, give us a like and subscribe, and of course, share the show with your friends and family on social media. And make sure to tag at Greg Nibbler, at Winnie's Son. If you see anything interesting, we would love to hear from you. We truly appreciate you. But with that, Greg, I think we're a wrap.
I think that's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.